Sheet for Manchester City this evening. Erling Haaland, who joins us live from the Etihad right now. Congratulations, Erling. What did you make of that performance overall?
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think it was a really good performance. We started really bad. We all know, but we kept going, and I think we controlled a lot of the game. Yeah, a great team performance.
And the fact that there are back-to-back wins, it's in what's going to be a really important week for the club as well.
Yeah, it's we have to keep winning games. We have to start, or how you want to say it. That's what we need to do. Yeah, today we showed great spirit, and now it's about keep going. It's about going to the next Champions League game. It's a must-win, and then we go to Arsenal, and then, as you can see, the schedule is plenty of games. So it's about getting ready for the next game as quick as possible, and to try to stay fit.
Erling, it's Gary Cahill. Congratulations, first of all. I just wanted to ask you, in the second half, it looked like you went more direct at times. Was that a tactic from the manager, or is that just about making decisions on the pitch?
I think Chelsea went really quick, clear man against man, and there was loads of space because obviously the line is really high. So as you've seen before, Ederson been giving me a couple of assists, and I know how precise he can be. So it's about having the right timing with me and him, because everyone has a man and it's difficult to play. So sometimes even Manchester City can go quite direct, and I think that's a good thing. I think it was a really good goal and an amazing pass, of course, from Ed.
Erling, Jamie Redknapp. Hopefully you've got a screen there so you're going to see the goal in a second. Yeah. You talk about the assist. You end up in a really good position with Chalobah on a 1v1, which is obviously with a modern game. But what this does, it gives you such an advantage when you're defending when someone's trying to defend against your power and pace.
Yeah, and it's difficult because you have to take the decision right there. You know what you're going to do, if you're going to try to take it down, or if he's going to come and just pull you down or whatever. But I thought it was space in behind, so I tried to just let it go because he didn't go quite for the ball. Yeah, then it was about running, and then Sanchez was mistiming it, and then yeah, the opportunity was there to just chip it or shoot it in the back of the net, as you can see. It was a perfect pass.
Were you surprised to see Sanchez come running out towards you?
Yeah, I thought he was going to go. I thought he was going to get it at first because I just saw like in my eyesight. But then I quickly saw that he stopped, and then it was about trying to stay calm and put it in the back of the net.
And you had a new forward partner today in Marmoush. He had obviously a good debut. You seem to have a good connection with him. He's going to be an exciting player for the Premier League.
Yeah, and I think especially first half, he was really you can see that he has something special, and there's also a reason why Man City bought him, because he has something special. So he got straight in the team, and it's about getting to know him as quick as possible because so many games is coming and so many important games. So it's about giving him confidence, and he's going to be a fantastic player for us.
Erling, lots of players have talked before about no matter how successful you are, it's always a boost to have new players, new faces in the dressing room. Have you noticed that with the three new signings coming in?
Yeah, it's always nice. I've been a new player before, trying to come in with a bit different energy and a bit different, I don't know, personality or whatever. So it's always nice, and also nice to get to know new people. And of course to play with good players. That's what you want. And yeah, as I said, he had an amazing first half of the season for Eintracht Frankfurt, and hopefully he's going to have the same season for us now in the second half of the season.
And of course, as they all know, you're going to be there for a long time now, so they know that you're going to be a familiar place around the club. Erling, thanks so much for joining us. Good to talk to you.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, another 9.5 years, as we know, for Erling Haaland. But for new players coming in, they know that there is a player in there who's going to guarantee them almost goals in games. Does that make a difference in terms of particularly the young players coming in?
Yeah, I think for any player that's going to sign, you want to know that the good players are staying. There's obviously going to be a slight change in the next few years because there's a change in the guard. Now, Kevin De Bruyne, for me, has been the best Premier League midfield player ever, but he can't play that for that much longer. He's got a couple, maybe I think the end of the season might be his last season. And you want to know that the good players and the younger players are still going to be there, the established ones. So it's so important when you see him sign obviously it's quite unprecedented 9-year contract, but I think it's still good for everybody. It's good for City fans because he's a phenomenon. Since he's come in, the goals that he's scored, you know, he's an incredible player. And I think as a player, when you know that he's signed, it helps when everyone else wants to come in.
It's good for the Premier League as well. You know, you want the best players in this league. It's a top league. And he's certainly one of them. You know, he's world class. He's got absolutely everything. So yeah, it's a big statement from Man City to keep hold of a player like that. And also, you know, like Jamie said as well, when you're trying to attract players to the football club, I mean, Manchester City, in some ways sells itself. But obviously, to know that you've got the likes and the calibre of Erling Haaland there, it can only be good.
Yeah, and there for a long time.
Exactly.
Well.
Yeah.
Look, Marmoush, as Jamie said, it was a good debut from him. Not so much for Khusanov, certainly from the early stages of the game. And we'll talk about how he recovered from this a little bit later on. But in those first few minutes, it was an error that led to a goal and a yellow card. Let's talk about the goal first, just in terms of what may or may not be going through his head from a defender's point of view, Gary.
Like I said at half-time, I think first of all his mindset will have been, right, let's keep it tidy, let's make no mistakes, play myself into the game. Initially, we talked about him getting his feet kind of mixed up a little bit on the flight for the header, which can be resolved in this instance now. That's just got to be cleared, whether that's from himself or a Kanji to come across.
I'll take that back for you, Gary. So as I said, once that ball's bouncing there, you see there's an awful lot of space to his left. So if he were to just, if you don't mind, maybe even take it that way with his head, hook it with his right foot. But that one there, you just don't feel is on, just knocking it back to the goalkeeper.
I don't feel it's on. I think playing your way into the game, like we said before, as a young player coming in and just wanting to make no mistakes early on, feel your way into the game, I feel like the best option there is the first one, what you just said. Bounces, you clear it. You get rid of the danger, you ask questions after. There's also an element, what we said as well, with maybe a Kanji is maybe a bit harsh on him, maybe gives him a shout to clear it, or he comes across and takes control. But someone has to take control in that moment, early on in the game, and clear the lines. Was
this a bit of a mistake? So just talking about foot patterns as a centre-back, because he gets himself in a little bit of a muddle here. You can see he wants to lead with his right foot as he goes up to take on the header. But then he's at the last second almost changes his foot pattern and then loses his momentum a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting because you spotted this, didn't you, early on? And I thought, if you're looking at finer details, the first run-up when he's got his right foot in front, he's got momentum to go and then win and challenge the header. The minute he changes his feet, it almost becomes that he's standing still. So he's going from a stood-still position, if that makes sense. If you go back, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I'll take that back. Hold on. Let's take that back. Because I think it is. I think it's a detail. It's almost that, and the second one compounds. Because I think if he probably wins that first header, obviously that gives him a little bit of confidence in the rest of the game. But that sort of got him into a spin, didn't it? This is the one here.
So here, you look at his right foot position. If you slow it down, it's gone too fast.
You've got time, it's all right. It's the beauty of live TV. We can take our time.
So here, so when you run it slowly, he changes his foot position then. So if you go further back, as he's getting his momentum, he's running towards the play. You get momentum, you get more height, you'll be able to attack it more aggressively. The minute he changes his feet, like I say, he just goes from a stood-still position, which is very difficult to get up. To be honest, he totally mistimes it. You know, it's not even a flick on. He's totally misread the flight of the ball.
And then rather than get his head on it, he gets his shoulder on it there, and he's just in a tumble.
The business ends the second one. Let's be right. You just clear that and you ask questions after,
Absolutely.
like I said. So it's disappointing for the young boy to start a game like that.
He misplaced 4 of his first 7 passes,
Yeah.
and this is not a player whose profile, certainly if anybody's been looking into him in the build-up to this game, suggests that he's anything other than defensively very solid. How much of it is he's 20, coming up for 21 at the end of February? He's just come to Manchester City. He's only been in the country for a couple of days. How much of it is down to just maybe nerves?
Ken, I'm not. It's easy to be clever. It's hindsight. I said before the game, I felt it was just a bit of a risk. It's less of a risk for Marmoush, as an example, as a striker, because the mistake he maybe misses a chance. But when you're actually playing as a centre back, it's a lot more difficult. You know, the risk and the pressure that's on you. And I actually think Pep right now will be thinking, I shouldn't have played him. He's 20 years of age. He's just come into the country. It's not like he's worked with this back 4. The team has not got any confidence right now as a defensive unit. You're playing right back who's Nunes. It's not like you've got an established back 4 that's playing together and you can come in when the team's winning week in, week out. Last year, this would have been an easy job. It had a much easier job. But this season, it's a lot more difficult. And I think throwing him into an environment like this today, it was a mistake. You know, but he's got to learn from it, and I think long term, I think he'll probably help him, because after he made those initial mistakes, he did get better. But having got booked as well, it was a really difficult debut for him. I just hope it doesn't sort of damage him long term. You know, I thought the fans were really good with him in the end, but he will learn from this and hopefully become a stronger, better player.
Yeah, he got a good reception when he came off.
Yeah. And I think if I bring myself back to when I was a young player, I think the reaction after the goal, the booking, the couple of misplaced passes, you're replaying that in your head. You're replaying that in your head many times. The further down the line in my career, the more experience I got, I managed to be able to kind of dismiss that, worry about that after, which I would analyse it after. But as a young player, I was the same. I used to replay that in my head, and it would affect your game. Like you said, when he did settle down, he made a couple of good blocks. And listen, football's a roller coaster. He's a young player, right? This won't be the first time he makes a mistake for a goal. It won't be the last time. So, you know,
it's been a whirlwind week. I don't know about you. I remember signing for Liverpool as a 17-year-old. You signed, you know, for Chelsea. Things happen so quickly. He's been pulled left, right, and centre, and all of a sudden he's been told he's got to play against Chelsea in a high-profile game live on Sky. It's been difficult for him, and I'm sure social media and everybody's going, "Oh, he's had a night." It happens in football. You know, football's really cruel. It can be so unkind. And he made a big mistake today. From his perspective, the team have won. So hopefully now that does... Because imagine if they'd have lost 1-0 and all we do is talk about, you know, that mistake. Right now, he's just got to learn from it. He will get better. You know, but that was a tough day for him.
Is there a world in which this is actually a good thing for him, that he's kind of got it out the way? The team haven't lost anything in terms of... They've conceded the goals. Jamie said they've gone on to take all 3 points, and he's come away from it relatively unscathed. He's got it out of the way.
I'm not sure he'll think that way, Kelly, to be honest. I'm not sure he'll think that way. But what I would say is it builds character, you know. You gain experience as a young player through going through experiences, good and bad. And obviously that was a bad start in terms of a debut. But I think he'll go on from strength to strength. You know, he's working under one of the top managers in world football. And Pep's shown faith in him by starting him. You know, John Stones on the bench, which we said before, maybe he's not fully fit. He did come on and settle the ship somewhat with his experience. But he'll learn, and obviously, hopefully, he'll grow to become a great player and have a great career.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a tough one for him. Make no mistake. But everyone, footballers all make mistakes. It's never perfect. It's just how you bounce back from it now. And the good thing is he's going to have get back into training and make sure that he just establishes himself in that team. But it was a tough watch, that first 10 minutes for him. I felt really sorry for him.
Yeah, he'll want the next game to come. He'll want to play the next game as soon as possible. That would be my mindset.
Well, he's lucky the game's come thick and fast.
So he's got another cup final coming up soon.
He just wants to be on the starting lineup for that one. As for Manchester City going forward, particularly in that first half, it was almost maybe not when you look at his goal-scoring record, but almost a surprising source of a lot of their threat.
We wanted to talk, because Guardiola had a couple of really good chances in just before he scored. We've highlighted him here. He's at the back post, and there was a real theme, because Madueke obviously scored the first goal, and now what happened, it felt like after that Guardiola started to win the battle and started to take him into areas where he doesn't want to go. And then you start flooding the box. You've got Akanji in the box at this time. This is unlucky. It falls to him. This is good. I mean, you as a very good attacking defender, if you like, you've got in positions like this guy. But he was unlucky here. Just doesn't quite get his strike that he likes. And then again, here he is in this position. Now, I want to ask you about this one, Gary, because you can see, just take that back a little bit, Madueke, Guardiola's going to make a really good run, but he's not comfortable in that position. Do you think he probably should match that run, or should you leave Reece James with that one as that ball gets played?
Well, he's like a centre forward, isn't he? He bends his run perfectly. Great piece of play. But yeah, obviously it's not natural for Noni to go in them positions. Sometimes you have to track, but I think he shouted to Reece to try and pass him on, and he's kind of got him. He's in between passing him on and tracking him, and obviously he's decided not to track him.
But they were the warning signs. They were the warning signs. And I think what then happened is that City started to get in the ascendancy, started to get a little bit of confidence. All of a sudden, there's your right back, there's Guardiola, and they're starting to make really good positions, started to be aggressive. And then you never really felt Chelsea were comfortable after that. And the other player who's obviously really key to this, for me, is Madueke, because he's now in a position, you've got Reece James, number 24, Madueke. Reece James sort of gets attracted to Phil Foden, doesn't he?
But Guardiola's asking questions of Noni all the time. Noni doesn't want to be in that position, really.
Exactly.
And he's asking questions of him all the time.
What about the left-back's part in this? Cucurella, already, we're just going to highlight him. You can see that he's now looking over his shoulder. He knows he's got a bit of a problem with Nunes. Could he do better? Because it feels like he wants to play offside, but you can't do that when you've got Madueke up there.
Yeah, I think hindsight, I think potentially if he looks back at this, maybe he sees him there, he has a glance, and he has another glance again. He's aware that he's coming, but he chooses to step forward instead of stepping back. I think in that occasion, he would have been better off maybe tracking the run as well. And there's a man again, there's a threat.
He had more touches than any other Manchester City player in the Chelsea box.
Yeah, but this is why I feel once you get into that position, he now has become a right back. Whatever way you look at it, there is your conventional right back in this system, and that's Reece James. So you then have to think like a defender. And as that ball gets played, Núñez obviously does what he does. Just watch what Madueke does. He just falls asleep. You've got to stay with him. Now you've got to look. Now he's jogging. He's still jogging. He doesn't react. He doesn't sense that danger. Then the ball falls to Guardiola. If he matches him stride for stride and sprints, he gets back and probably stops that, Gary.
Like I said, in an ideal world, they would flip round, wouldn't they? Reece James would be where Noni was, Noni would be where Reece James is, and that would be an ideal world. And obviously, naturally, more defensive, he would take up them positions, I would assume.
Yeah, and there he is, touches in the opponent's box, 7 for Josko Gvardiol, the most of any of the Manchester City players. Only Noni Madueke outdid that, obviously, on the other side. But Manchester City in the second half particularly seemed like they came into there and they had more control in the game, as you've both said. And if you've got Erling Haaland, there's always a chance that there's going to be a goal. We looked at this with him earlier. What did you make of it?
Old school's becoming, and do you know what?
Doesn't it always?
Kelly, I watch football. I watch academy football. We watch Premier League, Championship, and we'll watch the goals on a Monday morning on Sky Sports News. And how many goals will we see where teams are trying to play out from the back when it's not on? They lose the ball, the goalkeeper's not comfortable, all of a sudden the ball ends in the back of your neck and you go, oh, well, that was a shame, but wouldn't we play lovely football? This, I think it's about using common sense at times. When you see what Chelsea are trying to do here, it's not the most intense pressing you like, but you can see they're going man for man. There's Sancho, he's going into John Stones there. You've got Cole Palmer's going to come into Akanji. Obviously, in midfield, Kovacic is getting tightly marked. You're getting marked in there as well with Caicedo, and you've got Fernandes that's going to pop in. And then as this sort of unfolds now, you can see that you've got a 1v1 that's starting to develop here. You can see that Trevor Chalobah is going to end up in a bit of a position. Two things I want you to look at is Phil Foden, and I want you to look at Pep Guardiola, because Phil Foden now is going to take Levi Colwill into a position that, as a centre-back, do you really want to be going in that way? I know it's the modern way, Gary, and we have to accept that, but would you be happy going into that area?
No, because I think obviously I'd leave my centre-back 1v1, which is brave. The way they've set up there is brave. Like you said, it's man v man, and if that's the setup, then obviously he has to go in there. Yep. Because if he doesn't, Ederson has the quality to drop that into Phil.
Absolutely. Well, one person who certainly knew it was Pep Guardiola. Yep. Pep now, he's looking and he's thinking to himself, great, we've got a 1v1, we've got a goalkeeper that can kick it like a mule, who's one of the best. I've never seen a left foot like it. He kicks it so far, this guy. So why not beat that press? Why try to play it when it's not really on? We're not that comfortable, when the confidence isn't there. Haaland does brilliant as well, Gary, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. Do you know what, Man City, I love Man City with this aspect, because everyone knows them for building up, for playing the intricate passes and all the rest of it, and all the nice looking football. They have this weapon and they do use it. Yeah. So sometimes I feel like to play out when it's not on. They have no problem with going long if they need to, especially when you've got a target man like him. I would not want to be isolated 1v1 with him, like Trevor was. And yeah, it's a strange decision from the goalkeeper. I think you see him after his reaction when he hit the ground. He knows he's found himself in no man's land there.
And
really.
Haaland said that you can see the moment that Robert Sanchez changes his mind when he's running out towards him. He pauses in the middle of it and almost starts running backwards.
I think he's frustrated with himself because he's obviously took up a high position because the ball's with the goalkeeper at the other end. So naturally the goalkeeper's going to take up a high position. I think the error that he makes is instead of retreating back to his goal, he stayed in that high position and almost, he's come across. You just see him coming into the picture now in a minute. Here. Yeah. And then he finds himself stranded a little bit. Yeah. And makes a decision easy for someone like Haaland.
I think this is the angle here. I think when you look at Sanchez, right, you understand that your centre-backs, as I wouldn't say he's in complete control, but he's in not a bad position. Just stay where you are. Why you even make up his mind, Gary? That's what I don't understand. Look, where are you running? You're not going to get that ball. You can see there that there's probably a 7. He's lightning Haaland. You are not going to make up that distance. If he stays in his goal, you're going to create a 2v1 any second because Cucurella's going to get back. But as soon as he goes out there, he just makes up his mind. Don't get me wrong, it's great centre-forward play, isn't it? Yeah. But if he stays in his goal, this doesn't happen. It's really poor.
Yeah, I mean, there's recovery runs that Cucurella's coming back in. There's still a lot to do for Haaland if I think the goalkeeper just retreats and goes back on his line. Like I said, you can see his frustration when he hits the ground. I think he knows himself. And and someone of Haaland's quality, it makes it quite easy for him.
Oh, it's lovely. When he, because like he said, he saw the goal. You can see the goalkeeper in your peripheral vision. You're going lovely. Just get this back on my left foot, and he curled it in. A really good piece of play, and nothing more than they deserved second half. They were much the better side, and obviously then the icing on the cake was from Phil Foden, who's hit some great form. Been a really poor start to the season. Surprised me for whatever reason. I don't know. He got last season. He had an amazing season. The Euros perhaps wasn't his best, and just sort of lost his confidence after that. But again, Gary, long ball football. But because it's Pep, we'll accept it, I guess.
Well, it's long passes rather than lumping it forward, isn't it?
It's long ball. Let's not kid ourselves. We love it.
There's a difference between a pass and a punt, isn't there?
I like Pep. What's Pep here? Look, he knows. He's thinking to himself, right, get a flick here. Look at him. This is brilliant. Look. He just plays it, and he sees, he goes, come on in. We know we're in business again. You've got a 1v1.
And it's decision-making as well from the goalie, isn't it? You know what I mean? If he knows it's not on to play, then sometimes, like I said, you've got that option to go long.
Trevor Chalobah gets a bit attracted to the ball, try to get a 2v1, and what they end up missing out on is the run, obviously, from Phil Foden, Gary. Yeah,
like you say, he's hit form. He's a top player, and I think, sometimes you do hit a dip in form, and he had that at the start of the season, but certainly he's back to his normal self now with goal scoring. But again, great piece of play by Haaland, very difficult, so strong. And he just pops it off. And 1v1, you fancy Phil, especially in this fall, to finish that. I bet you Erling Haaland loves this as well. It's perfect for him. Because I don't think he likes that.
Does it feel more like Dortmund?
Yeah, because I don't think the intricacies of the game and sometimes those little subtleties and tight areas, that is necessarily his strength. But if you say to him, you're going to have a battle with a centre-back, go like man for man, you try and stop me, I think that's when he comes into his element, Gary.
I played with Diego Costa, and he was very much, if we wanted to play football and play nice football, he'd get involved in that. If he wanted to have a target man and have a little bit of a wrestle, he'll get involved in that as well. It's like what I said about Erling. He's got everything. He can run in behind, he can hold the ball up, his finishing, his pace, his power, so he's a threat.
Yeah, look at that. 6 goals in the last 4 Premier League games for Phil Foden as well, and 7 in his last 7 in the Premier League. As you said, that early season form forgotten now. He's in a purple patch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good for him. He's got to keep that going now because City they've still got a lot to play for. They're not going to win the title, but they can certainly find some form and challenge in the Champions League if they can win this week and cup competition still. So it's a lot to play for them still.
When we were talking about Arsenal and their propensity for free kicks and dead ball situations, Tony Pulis was absolutely delighted. He said, I knew everybody would come round to my way of thinking.
They've now got 13 points. From the last 15. Is that all they could do, Sean, in this situation, with the unusual situation we've seen them in, is try and build slowly, and they've got a little bit of Premier League momentum now?
Yeah, that's the only thing they can do and what is really there for them. I think City as a club in general, they always take game by game and they go into every game trying to get maximum points from that game. But as we know, through the blip that they had, that wasn't quite happening. But now they seem to be picking up points in pretty much a lot of the games they're playing now, and it's now just building onto that. And we know normally the back end of the season they normally go on an amazing run anyway. So can they do that again? And is it going to be enough to keep him in that top 4? They have to go out front foot, and I think they showed that today, coming back from 1-0 down against a good and strong Chelsea team.
Because we have seen them this season alone have a Champions League setback in the week and then that hangover carry on to the weekend in the Premier League. And that could have easily happened today because they were 2-0 up in Paris and lost 4-2.
Yeah. And especially when they went 1-0 down, you could possibly feel the crowd thinking, oh no, here we go again. As I say, a bit frail confidence. But no, they bounced back and they played particularly well. I really enjoyed watching them. I think Chelsea actually made it reasonably easy for them.
In what way?
Well, we'll look at the goals in a little while, but I'd be quite sceptical unless I've got someone like Saliba or unless I've got someone like Van Dijk at the back.
Or Makelele in front of them.
I'm not sure I'd be leaving Erling Haaland one-on-one to basically manhandle defenders. I mean, he's big enough and strong enough to do that. And I think both the second and the third goals, Chelsea were happy just man-marking all over the place. Manchester City would sit deep in their own half, and all of a sudden it was just Haaland on his own against Chalobah or whoever the centre-half at the time was. And that's just a one-on-one. That's like really risky. And as I say, it happens a lot of the time. Arsenal do it, Liverpool do it, but they've got man-mountain centre-halves that got the speed, got the strength and can do it. as I say, we'll have a look at it in a little while, but I thought Chelsea were a little bit naive at times.
Never happened when there was a Makelele in the team on your watch, of course. But were they a bit unprotected at times, that Chelsea back four today?
Yeah, I think they do a lot of mistakes today defensively. The positions, the way Michael said, Chalobah needs to with the central protector, the one-on-one. I think they lose is about their own mistake. They can do better today, I'm sure.
OK, let's get some Manchester City reaction. Amongst the Premier League goals again, here he is, Erling Haaland.
It looked as though every City player really enjoyed that today. Was that as good a performance, team performance, as there's been for quite a few weeks?
Yeah, I think it was a overall great performance, even though we started horrific. It was a fantastic team performance, and I'm really happy.
Was that one of those nights when the senior players all stepped up to help one another out?
I think, when we get the start like we did, it's difficult, but I think we played really well, even from that, and we kept on going, and then Joshko scored, deserved goal because he had quite a few chances, and we kept on pushing, and second half was the same, and yeah, we got the goals, and in the end it's what we need to do. We need to lock it in the back and keep going attacking wise.
You just said about horrific. Do all sorts of thoughts enter your mind, or do you not let them? When you think about Paris and then you're a goal behind, does it affect you?
No, it's that early that it's almost like, okay, we have to start with -1 goal, like we did it quite a few times. Even Brentford scored after, even earlier, this can happen, but it's about keep going, because we've done it so many times before, turn it around, especially here at home. We know how confident we are and everything, so it's about keep going and to try to have peace in mind in your head. That's really what matters.
There aren't many strikers who can have a look at the goalkeeper with the ball and think, he might give me a goal here. Every time Ederson gets it like that, are you on the move straight away?
Yeah, it's something we practice. Depends on the team we meet and everything, but especially team that goes man against man, we try to focus on giving me space, because there is a lot of space, and then Ederson gave me a lot of assists already these 2.5 years, so when he has the ball, it's about being perfect timing, because he's so precise.
And you've got a new man to help you out up front, Omar Mamouche. What had you seen of him before today, and what do you think he's going to do to help you and to help the team?
Yeah, I think I've seen. I still watch Bundesliga and support Dortmund, of course. So I'm watching Bundesliga, and I watch him as well. So it's going to be fantastic playing with him. I think he had a really good first half. He even scored. I didn't see it again how much offside it was. But yeah, you can see that he has something special, and that's also why City bought him for a lot of money. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with him, and it's going to be a really good time.
Thanks, Erling.
Thank you, man.
He's got 5 in 5 Premier League games now after going just 3. There's 2 aspects then to his goal. Let's first of all talk about the City side. They practice it. They know what Ederson can do, and he is the obvious target in this situation.
Yeah, well, they did this a few times within a game from various areas, and I'm not sure what Chalobah was quite doing there, but Haaland reacts quicker and he sees the keeper. And for me, the finish is as cute as it gets. I think it's a perfect, delicate finish, Mo.
It is absolutely great finish, but I said that's what I was touching on before. Everybody locked in, man on man, but then you leave one-on-one at the back. I'm just not sure you can do that unless you've got somebody that's got the physical presence to manage Haaland. He first of all bumps Chalobah out the way, and then he sits him on his backside, and then the goalkeeper makes a horrific mistake running out when he doesn't need to. I mean, if he stands on his goal line, that's just Haaland has to wait and wait and wait for some support off midfielders and all the rest. Goalkeeper just making up your mind. It's absolute poetry. When you're a centre forward and you see the opposition goalkeeper doing something stupid, making your mind up like that, it's like, oh, thank you. I would never have scored in a million years if you hadn't have just gifted me it like that. So really, really poor decision. But as I say, I think Chelsea could have avoided it in the first instance. I'm not sure that going man for man and leaving one-on-one at the back with Haaland is the ideal thing.
So we started the day by talking about the top 3 clubs. The top 3 scorers have all scored today. Salah 19, Haaland 18 and Isak 17. It's competitive for the Golden Boot. Standards are high as well because Erling Haaland won it last season with 27. The 2 years you shared the Golden Boot in the Premier League era, Mo Salah would have won it by now, ahead of you.
Yeah, exactly, 18. Yeah, I think these goal scorers at the moment, as I've said before, if you were one goal in every 2 games, you were classed as world class, and now if you don't score one every game, if you're 1 in 2 now, you're just moderate. So, but yeah, it's a great race. 3 top strikers there. I mean, I love Isak. I think he's so silky, so classy. Haaland maybe not got the class of an Isak in his general play, but just a goal-scoring machine. And Mo Salah's been there, seen it, done it, continues to do it. It's going to be a really interesting battle for that.
I should point out that Chris Sutton, Dion Dublin, our very own, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and Dwight York were top strikers as well, who you shared the Golden Boot with.
Sharing's caring.
Indeed. Now, the other side of the goal is the Chelsea point of view and the goalkeeper, Claude. What's he thinking here, Robert Sanchez?
I think everything is about communication. When you defend it like this, is a communication. Chalobah, need tell him stay. You need to do one-on-one for not give us a possibility because Haaland is good striker. You see already the goalkeeper give him the space for shooting. Just cross the ball and this is a big mistake.
And as you can see, it's not a statistic that the Chelsea goalkeeper will want to see again in a hurry. Alongside Muric, he's got the most errors leading to goals this season. And when we have a look at all 5 errors, including today, they're different forms of goalkeeping, Sean, as well.
But yeah, they are. I watched him in pre-season when City played against them, and he was making similar errors then, and he does throughout the season, and he did the same a bit last season as well. But not all of them ended up, I'd say, in a goal, whereas I'm finding that he's getting punished quite a bit now from the opposing teams. And this one here, Chalobah don't even know he's come for that. I think it's more of a surprise to Chalobah when he looks up and he sees his goalkeeper past the penalty spot. And just like Mo said, Haaland would have been rubbing his hands with that. And as soon as he gets good control over that, he's got basically the whole goal to aim for as long as he gets the height on it.
Is he nearing a point where Enzo Maresca perhaps just needs to take him out of the firing line, or do you continue to play him and back him?
Well, Chelsea have been doing well this season. It's a team game. He has made mistakes, a couple in the last games, but they were in the Champions League places before today, and they're only just out of them now. I don't know. It might be a position that he's looking at in the future, thinking maybe I need to change. For now, what's behind him, is that good enough? They've chopped and changed the goalkeepers quite a bit at the moment. Arrizabalaга's out on loan at Bournemouth, doing particularly well. So I don't know. It's a tough one to call. It's manager's preference, really. But it might be a position, if they want to win the league, which they obviously do in the future, then that might be a position that they probably think we've got to brush up on in the future.
He was beaten again. Phil Foden scored in 4 consecutive Premier League games for the first time, and he has 7 in 7 games. But Haaland's role in this, Sean?
It's the same thing Mo said. He's isolated again, but the hold-up play is perfect. And Chalobah comes to Warner. I don't think Chalobah needs to, and Phil just runs off the back of him. But the ball around the corner for me is brilliant. And from he gets there, he's away, Mo.
Yeah, as Sean says, it's exactly the same, Steve. Everybody's man for man all over the place. Now, if you're playing against Manchester City, or let's say you are Manchester City, and you know they're going to go man for man, why wouldn't you just put all 10 of your men in your own half and then leave Haaland up front on his own 1v1? It's just the simplest thing in the world. You've got a goalkeeper that can put it on a sixpence, and you just keep pinging it up to Haaland. He either turns and outmuscles his man like he does for the first goal, or he touches the ball and wait for a running past and flicks it round the goal. 2 identical goals that, as I say, I think it's naive play. And as I say, if I'm Liverpool and I've got Virgil van Dijk, he's as quick as Haaland. He's probably stronger than Haaland. I'm quite happy with it. Saliba, I could probably do the same. But I'm not sure anybody else in the Premier League can afford to just go one-on-one and just let the goalkeeper chip it up to him and say, go on, you two have a battle, see who wins. Haaland's going to win it most of the time. I think it's naive play. Both goals exactly the same.
What do you think?
He's right. You can't leave Haaland one-on-one. It's impossible. He's a good striker. staggerman. He knows exactly when the ball is coming, he knows the teammate, he will take the space. We see the goal, they combinate with his teammate. Easy. 1-on-1 is impossible. On my side, because I see...
Yeah, with our side. As I say, I can only think of two centre halves.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Van Dijk and Saliba. I mean, Gabriel is a big, strong guy, but in general, you can't do that against Haaland. That's what he is. You're just saying, these are your strengths, we're going to let you play to them. If anything, you sit deep, he hardly has a touch in most games. You know, you can keep Haaland quiet in many games. But when you just... That's just giving him what he wants. That's perfect for him. He dreams of situations like that. Why would you do it? Why would you let somebody that's got all that strength utilise it? You actually normally put them onto their weaknesses, so put them onto his right foot or keep him out the box or don't let him get a running jump on it. All the things that you think he's good at, well, let's negate them and make him do the things he's not so good at. Chelsea have just let him do what he pleases at the things he's absolutely brilliant at. It's baffling, really.
One man who will be pleased about that, having been 1-0 down, is, of course, the Manchester City boss. Here he is, Pep Guardiola.
Pep, there was a lot in that. Impressive, would you say, given the injuries that you've had, what happened in midweek and the start to this match, the way you've come back and taken all 3 points?
Yeah, it was not the best start, and we were lucky that they couldn't punish us with the 2-0, but after that we recovered emotionally really, really strong. And we make a good performance, especially for the team we are playing. At the end, we had more the ball than the last games, and that make us, to have chances to play. And they just 3 points, but of course in the situation that we are, and especially for the game, the final we have next Wednesday, so it was really important.
Khusanov, how is he?
He didn't speak English, so I didn't speak with him. We'll be fine. So understand, come for the first time, didn't make 1 or 2 training sessions. I don't want to push John because come from the injury because I need him from Wednesday, and he will learn. As much he's aware of what happened, he will learn.
It is an education, isn't it? Football can be brutal as well in those moments, but when you made that substitution, the way that his teammates, the way that support staff, the way that the fans supported him, appreciated the composure that he managed to find once the nerves had settled a bit for him?
No, especially the players, how they were together. That's we talk a lot these days about that, and that was massively important because in that moment any player can make a mistake, in that terms, and after that you feel alone is even tougher. So, and the fans, I know, the new players always support, and he's so young and will come from many years, and he will learn.
And we saw glimpses of Mamouche and what he can do as well, and what positives you can take from that, and what he can take from that from his debut today.
No, absolutely. Omar, have a tough opponent. James, physicality strong, and again, so just we'll talk about some images, some never could practice, but he made an incredible movement that the players in the middle could not see him. So I think Gundo and Kova and Bernie, they should be more clever in the movements at the high line than Chelsea had be in contact. But this question of time that that know each other, because at the end we don't know the movements of him or the movements he likes and need time. So, but he plays 75 minutes good because again he cannot play on Wednesday and yeah, so it's important for them make a debut and win.
Relief maybe. Perhaps for you because of the manner in which you secured all 3 points as well in the position that you were coming into this match. How big a win is this over Chelsea?
Of course it is. Always is important against Chelsea. And of course we are the situation that we are. But now we are closer than Nottingham. But of course Bournemouth continues with impressive run. So there are a lot of teams in the margin from nothing. But our games at home, so we have today here, we have Newcastle, we have Liverpool, we have Brighton, we have Bournemouth, we have Aston Villa. All the teams that we are fighting for the Champions League, they come here to Etihad, and as much we will be stronger here, we have a chance to qualify.
And last question, I know you don't do business in the January transfer window, and this has been a one exception. Will you strengthen further with the remaining week or so?
I don't know.
You don't know? Would you like to?
I don't know. What I would like is to have my team like start this season back. I said many times. So we go to the market. Maybe we'll do it in summer because we have unbelievable problems during 4 or 5 months in the beginning of the season. When more or less the team will be fit in terms of central defenders, the holding midfielders, we are now gone to the market. So it's simple. So, and what happened, the club decide. This kind of things always the club tricky, and the club decide what they have to do.
Pep, thank you.
Watch that space. 9 days of the window still to go. Yeah, contrasting fortunes with the two debutants, but Marmoush, he mentioned that it's going to take time to find out his runs, but I think all three of you were very impressed with his movement today.
Yeah, I was very impressed. He looked very. Obviously, he was coming up against Reece James, who we know on his day is a fantastic fullback.